Hopefully I'll be able to finish this critique here on this last video. This is the next project, and there's some good things going on here. Some nice white space over here on the side. You know, our brains need a space where they can go to rest, and that's one reason that white space is so important. So this is a clever idea here with these gradients coming down off of the G and off of this box. It's a nice repetition of that kind of a thematic element. Only concern with it is that it doesn't look like it matches up quite right with this G, and also it cuts off some white space that could be less trapped. So every time you do, a line out like this, then this space gets separated from this, and this space is totally trapped in here. And you want your white space to be free, especially on the outside, so it can kind of escape. I'm pretty sure that this isn't spelled correctly. There's a nice strong alignment here. It looks like this might be a little off of that line, so check that. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just the way that my screen is tilted or something. These two words could be closer. I like how close this word is to here. Usually I don't like text that's crowded, but I think this is actually working. Except for right there on the edge of that D, there's a tangent where that serif meets that corner. So I think I'd make this box wider. Anyway, you could play with that a little bit. Don't crowd this text, the word conference and leadership, too close to the edges. Really long lines of text, like this body copy that stretches from the left all the way to the right, those are harder to read. So consider shrinking the width of this text box down. Don't squish the text unproportional, but if this box was smaller, maybe it could line up here, for example. I wonder about the difference between this strong vertical line coming down from the G and this strong vertical line, because they're so close together. I think I would move those farther apart, or maybe if this came down on the other side, maybe that would help. I don't know. Consider some stronger alignments here. You've got a creative alignment. This is a nice strong line. This is a nice strong line. A little bit of contrast in here. A little bit of contrast in here would be nice. Instead of using the corner of that V for alignment purposes, use this place right about here, and then bring that all the way down through. It looks like this information is off a little bit. Okay, the next one is this one. First thing I notice is that this photo is squished. Don't do that. Be sure you just bring a new version of that photo in and hold shift. Don't let go of the shift until you've let go of your mouse when you resize that photo. Conference needs a check, a spell check, and consider not center aligning. Definitely consider not center aligning the body copy and the date, time, and place information. This center alignment it's weak and it's hard to read, especially body copy. Give me some contrast in here. There's some great contrast in here with typeface, size, weight. So nice job up here. Not sure about these heavy lines. Might consider making them a little bit lighter. They do cut off some white space, but I feel like I'm repeating myself, so I'll stop saying that. This feels like it's separated too much, like there's not a relationship between these lines. This is a proximity relationship issue. It says registration and more information available at, and then at where? Oh, I can't tell, because the thing that this is supposed to connect to is way down here, and so that's a proximity problem, a serious one, because this at should have a close relationship with this web address, right now it's separated by all this space and by these other elements. That's a problem. Okay, some nice contrast in the title, some nice white space up here around this title. Really like that. Some good strong alignment here. We have a severe gradient going from black to white. Consider making your gradient less severe. In other words, less change in value. Maybe going from black to a dark gray. Or consider not even doing a gradient. There's an alignment between these three lines, but it doesn't seem to carry up to these two E's. And because this is a gradient, it doesn't carry to here. I can't tell. Maybe it carries to this, but not to the logo. It would be better if they were more aligned. You could left align this text and use this kind of as a second place for alignment, but this is okay. The subtitle, Leadership Conference, seems a little bit squished down, or stretched out wide, I guess, either way. There is some tracking, which I'm fine with that. This does feel like a unified title, although you could probably get away with less space in between the word graduate and this leadership conference line, and unite this even more. I like the placement of this L. It's at a fairly strong alignment to the heavy part of this G. It could probably move over just a little bit more to the left and be fine. Be nice to have some contrast in here. And that's probably good there. These shapes are a little bit too complicated. They remind me of a road, like the lines on a road. I don't think that's what you intend to communicate. Everything has boxes, all these boxes. I think there's too many. Take the stroke. If you do leave boxes in, be sure you take the stroke off. And give text space inside of this box. Give it contrast so it's dark text on a dark background. This step, 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 step alignment, it's not as strong as it could be if it was straight vertical. See how if your eye follows this down, how you have to come in for this E and then out for this and then in for this and then back out for this. So it just looks disorganized and kind of cluttery just because you don't have a strong connection, a vertical and visible connection there. Same thing, there's a nice strength right here, but it's not connected to anything. So find places that things can connect to. Same thing here. The top of this and the top of that are just off. Bottom are off. Yeah, let's do the next one. Oh, that's interesting. Those use the same photo. I think the placement of this photo is a little bit better because it's looking into the content, whereas on this one, the photo and their gaze just takes us right off of the edge instead of back in. So you could flip this photo around and that might help the flow of this document too. Some fairly good contrast here. Be sure this has space. Find alignments. I feel like I'm just saying the same thing over and over and over again. Here we've got the road thing going on. Interesting that in these two there's a road thing going on. Some similarities there. But here I can see a connection. So, this has the date and the time and the place and the website. So that justifies this a little bit more, I guess. Still, I wonder about these big, heavy rectangles. I wonder if there's a different way you could do this that would tie these in better and not trap so much space in between. Because really, the date, time, and place are closely related to one another, and they need to have more of a relationship. Whereas this paragraph and this paragraph are less closely related to one another, and they should have less of a relationship. So put some space in between it, and find the paragraphs and do some spacing, because this just feels like a big, heavy block of text with a strange white space in there, because I can't tell visually that there's really another paragraph. If that makes sense. This, for body copy, this font is very heavy, very bold. You'll want to get rid of the hyphens. There's a little checkbox in InDesign to do that. Logos cut off here. Alignment is good from the box to the text, but then it jogs over here for no reason, and this October is even off of alignment from this time. And then this has kind of a strong line, unexpected, that doesn't connect anything. This doesn't connect anything. This doesn't connect anything, and this doesn't connect anything. Then you've got this these gradients that go from extreme dark to extreme light. Same thing here, a little bit less extreme, but still consider not doing that gradient. I wonder about right alignment here so that this text is united with that photo. And I need some more contrast in the title and in this body copy to help make a hierarchy on this page. So I hope that was helpful. That's your critique for Project 1.